Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 42. And with us, as always, starting co-host 6'2" from Tomball, Texas, Mr. Ryan. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm great. How are you, Jacob?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, it's a nice Sunday night here. Ooh, forgot to click the button. There we go. Now the world can see us.
Awesome. Hi, world.
Hi.
Did you know life is like coming into a movie in the middle, having someone explain what's happening before you came in, trying to figure out what's going to happen next, and getting kicked out before it ends? It's like, gosh damn it.
It's a true statement.
This is true. Thank you, Reddit. So, man, there's been some crazy shit this week.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What the fuck?
Well, I'm assuming you're talking about the plane crash.
I think that's the best place to start.
Yeah.
I mean, unless we want to go there later, but
No, it's good.
That's pretty much the topic on everybody's mind, I think, right now.
It's crazy for sure. It raises a lot of interesting questions. I think here in the U.S. and sort of privacy questions. Will airlines and other businesses be able to force people that work for them to give up their HIPAA rights? Because the co-pilot.
When you say HIPAA rights, what do you mean?
HIPAA is, I don't remember exactly what it stands for, but it's basically the code of your privacy. So that's why you had to sign documentation for anyone to know your medical history.
Mm-hmm.
And so, granted, this wasn't here in the U.S., but it raised the question because the co-pilot who crashed the plane, his doctor had deemed him medically unfit to fly, and he hid it from his employer. So
can you give us the basic rundown of what happened? For anybody who may not know, one guy.
This is what I have been told. This was Air Germany?
Right, German Wings,
right.
Mm-hmm.
They were flying over the Alps. The
Right.
pilot went out, I guess, to the bathroom.
some form of leave the cockpit.
Right, and the co-pilot locked him out.
And is this a case of where we have such security measures to make sure that people can't get into cockpits, that the guy inside the cockpit has so much control of that situation?
There are a lot of people saying that, yes.
Okay,
There's no way to. There were reports, and you could hear apparently in the recordings in the black box of the pilot trying to break down the door and get in and save
reportedly with an axe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some freaky fucking man. It's hard to put yourself in that situation.
Right.
So anyway, he locks himself in and then proceeds to essentially just descend into the mountains.
Correct. He crashes the plane, commits suicide, and takes 150 people with him.
137, something like that. I don't remember exactly the number. Yeah. And there's reports that it's over losing a girlfriend?
I haven't heard that. I thought he was still dating the person. I think he was just having issues. And he snapped.
Yeah, you know how this is. It's only been a few days and everybody reports anything they kind of halfway hear. Yeah, I heard that they had recently broken up and it was a depression issue, him just... I did not hear, though, about the doctor saying that he was unfit to fly.
Yeah,
is there any reason why?
He was given a note. He was given a doctor's note to take to his company, and he tore it up and didn't report that he had been deemed unfit to fly.
Why was he deemed unfit to fly? Does anybody know?
Because he was, he was not mentally stable enough to do so. So,
I would prefer to have my freedom of privacy and have these just 1% cases that happen. I know it's a tragedy for the people who died, and I know it's a rare percentage for anybody else experiencing this, but I wouldn't want to give up collectively all of our rights just because of a few bad apples. Well, that's just not how the system should work.
Right, but the question I have is, for things like that, should you make the case that to participate in that area, you must willingly give up at least that portion of your HIPAA rights? That a doctor can call in and say, hey, employee X is really not, he's not fit to fly, pull him.
Is that a slippery slope, though? Is that one of those cases where we just start moving slowly and it's another part to give the government a little bit more control?
It could be,
and then they move further and further down the line. What does the government deem fit, and what is like the general population deem fit? Usually doesn't coincide. So I don't know. It could be a tool to use to exert some control over the population. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Hi. It's definitely an interesting question to ponder. I mean, because so many doctors, I mean, a lot of people have physicals, right? And they get deemed unfit for work for physical reasons. So why?
That's a thing?
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Like, if you're not fit to be a policeman or fireman, that's why they have the physicals that you have to go through to make sure.
Well, that's fine. The company should be able to give you a screening, like the firemen be able to give you a screening. Or if you have to complete a physical, there's no reason they can't require you to pass some type of psychological exam.
One thing
seems fair.
Right.
But it also seems fair that you could quit before the exam and nothing happens to you.
Right. Well, that's
you should be able to be like, no, I don't want to do that. Walk away, and there shouldn't be any repercussions for that. That shouldn't be against the law either.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a voluntary.
That's fine.
And so.
Well, maybe the airlines themselves should implement the psychological test.
Right. That's kind of. I mean, granted, at least here in the U.S. with the FAA, they pretty much run everything anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Right. Damn, I just lost my train of thought. So, yeah, is it something that we should be able to do? Is it, or a question is who does it? Should the airlines be forced to carry a staff or a group of psychologists and train mental health professionals? Because I mean, if I were an airline, I would have my own, probably 20 of them that are. Every once in a while, the pilots have to go in and have someone they can talk to at all times. Just because the average Southwest flight has like 300 people on it. So that's the one they run between Houston and Oklahoma City runs every 45 minutes.
That's true.
Both directions. So it's you. I don't know, when you have that many lives there. I think when you want to be that responsible for that many lives, you lose some of your rights to privacy because you are responsible for 300 lives at a time.
So let's go a little less personal.
Okay.
And just more vague, and let's just talk in concepts.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, if it became an issue, shouldn't the free market system correct itself by having airlines that cater to that problem?
Right.
Like, look, our pilots are screened. Wouldn't the free market system take care of that? Like, if it started to be an issue and you started losing 300 people at a time every few months, you would stop flying fucking Southwest, right?
Right.
Especially if Intercontinental's like, look, all of our pilots are screened once every 6 months.
Right. Well, the question is, can they even do it? Can they even ask them? That's kind of what I was getting. But yes, I
think they should be able to. Sure, my boss can ask me whether I smoke weed or whether my back is hurt, or there's a bunch of things that I'm already. There is a precedence for asking people, and I think in situations like this, why not? Why like the guys who drive trains, wasn't that French guy that wrecked the train like a year ago, all distressed over his girlfriend or something? That stuff happens too. You can lose a couple hundred people that way.
Right. Yes,
perhaps.
It is
and
doable.
Then it becomes an interesting case because do you start? Like, what about the guys who drive the big tanker boats? They may not be responsible for 20 or 30 people in those giant boats, but they can be responsible for untold worth of environmental damage. Should they be screened?
That's a good question. I mean, a lot of them are on some level.
Yeah, but there are also still some of them who are drunks and pillheads and whatever,
Right, and that's the other question is how often do you screen? Because a lot of times physicals are like once a year.
That's true.
Should mental be every 6 months? Should it be 3 months? Once a month?
And how much can the global economy actually, suffer through that much? That's just a strain that doesn't really add any wealth to the system.
Right.
That's an expense.
But it keeps wealth from being removed from the system. So.
That's true. It's more of an insurance, huh?
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know. What would you say?
I mean, for this, I'm a little torn, but I would have to say I would think that basically they ought to be able to give their pilots a mental physical.
Sure.
It maybe not have their personal doctor do it, but have them talk to a staff doctor, and so that changes the rules a little bit. I think I want to say it does. So yeah, so you don't have that. You're not really.
Do we need a law for this?
I don't know. That's something I haven't been able to figure out yet. I don't know if it's doable. Odds are, I wouldn't be surprised if we see something soon. Someone trying to do it, trying to be able to get pilots, declared unfit.
Yeah,
or not
it's
even
a scary
pilots.
thing, though. Could you imagine being in that airplane?
Oh, that'd be terrible.
Terrifying, right?
I mean,
I like the pilot, man. I like how he went down fighting, tearing the door down with an axe.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
And you got to give him some credit against the door too. Like whoever made the door, hell yeah, man. Because I think I could get through most doors in like a few minutes with an axe. Even a big oak door, it should split. It's only a couple inches wide.
I don't know. I don't know what they're made of, but after 9/11, they basically had to be bulletproof.
Yeah.
That's what I've read. Some people are saying that the only reason this happened is because the airlines way overreacted to 9/11 and could, in the measures they took to make sure it never happened again, went too far. So it allowed things like this to happen.
Yeah, that's an interesting conversation. I don't know.
Yeah.
If the terrorist plan was to cause chaos and economic strain and fear, you could say they almost succeeded.
Yeah, man, for sure.
They did a lot of damage in just one thing.
Yeah, and it was one of those things that was such perfect timing. Like no one was expecting it. Luckily, with 9/11, there was some banking holiday, so they were mostly empty.
Yeah, it was a weird thing.
Yeah, it was, and so you kind of figure they screwed that one up.
Yeah, 2 days later or earlier, a lot more damage.
Right, but they did a good job. I would say mission accomplished on that one.
Yeah, if that was the mission, they did it. It's weird. Everything's different now.
The world
it really is too.
The world has never changed as much as it did in our lifetimes, except for that one day. Like that's the most it will ever change in our entire life, probably.
Right.
Like the they're just two different worlds, pre and post 9/11. The people who weren't really old enough to remember don't get it because you always kind of live with it, but it's different. And I've especially for someone who used to fly a lot like I did, getting through airports sucks. Like I cannot tell you how terrible some of the airport security lines are.
Yeah, I remember when you could go in the airport with me all the way to get on the airplane. Mm-hmm. And we might go through just a metal detector, and it was simple and easy and fast. And anybody's ticket was good enough. All you had to do was just show them a ticket for that seat. It's like, well, that's a ticket for that seat. Yeah, you're good enough. I'll go ahead and go.
You and me are kind of tied to 9/11 in a weird way. I had actually come down to visit you.
That's right.
And I wanted to stay for a week. Mm-hmm. And I had left on September 4th, and my dad didn't let me. He brought me back on the 9th.
Yep.
I was one of the last flights to fly before the towers hit.
Yep.
So it was less than 36 hours before the towers hit. I was up in the air. So, if I had waited like I wanted to, I would have been stuck down there for a couple of weeks or something until the planes were going.
That would have been okay.
Yeah, it would have been fine with me, but
maybe there is a God. All right, man. Hey, give the audience like a song or something, or give them a little short story. I got to go give the kids a hug. Sorry.
Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get into our music selection. How about some Adam Warrock, a little more nerdcore. I have my Spotify back, so I can actually get to more music, which is awesome. This is Retcon by Adam Warrock. Welcome back.
Yeah, apologies. Just, fatherly duties. Gotta take care of
You
it.
gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, between this podcast and my children, y'all can fuck off. So. Oh. Yeah, I remember 9/11. I woke up and, man, I don't remember why, but for some reason, I didn't have any real responsibilities that day, and neither did my mom. So it's like one of those situations where I woke up and I kind of turned the TV on lazily, and the first plane had already hit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this is weird. And in a weird way, I guess things were just so different back then that when you saw it, it was so strange that it was almost comical, or almost like it was more of a mistake and not an attack. It was just like, how the hell could someone fly an airplane into a building?
Right. Well, and everyone was saying it was a small airplane. They didn't realize it was the Boeing,
Yeah, and if you want to know where I was getting the report from, I was on a TV that got like, you had the little knobs that would give you like 8 and 2 or whatever, and had like the coat hanger wire antenna. And because it was in my bedroom and my mom didn't want me to have a TV, so I had to like put the whole thing together myself. But anyway, I was watching the 700 Club because it came on 55 the Tube, which just happened to be one of the channels that I could get really crystal clear. So I just turned the TV on and was getting ready, and that whoever that guy is, he was giving the report, and he said it was a Cessna, a little small airplane.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I'm watching, and I go get my mom, and I'm like, "Hey, there was an airplane that just flew into the World Trade Center," and she's like, "What?" So she comes over and watches. So as we walk back into the room, and the other airplane hits the other tower. On live TV, just plows into and we were both like, "Oh my god!" And from then on, she was like, "We got to go to your grandma's." So we went to her mother's, and I don't know, for the next 2 days we watched the TV.
Yeah.
For the next 2 days we watched the TV.
Yeah, for some reason, because we were both homeschooled, for those in the audience who don't know, we were both homeschooled, and my curriculum was late getting to me, so I didn't have any school that day. I had woken up, gone and run the bleachers at the Oklahoma State football stadium at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you were into that.
Went home and went back to sleep. And then my mom comes in and says, someone has just bombed the World Trade Center. Because depending on who you were watching, you didn't know what it was. Some people thought it was a bomb. Some people thought it was a plane.
Yeah, it was only on fire.
Right. And so I came in, and that's right when that second jet hit. And then not too long after that, the tower fell, which was crazy watching that thing drop.
And then the second tower fell not long after.
No.
It was weird. Such a surreal night.
The most awesome, not in a good way, but the most awesome thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like nothing.
Awesome in the way
just
of
leaves you just like in awe. You're just like, what? It's a terrifying awe, but you're still just like, what's going on?
Yeah, the definition of awesome, like break it down, like awe. Like the sum of awe. Like you're just like, yeah. Yeah. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe that happened.
Yeah.
And it wasn't long after that we were bombing them. It was weird. So I don't know. Do you think they should have done what they did? Like, do you think they should make the cockpits easier to get into now? Like, do we just keep going back and forth on this pendulum of safety and access and safety and?
I mean, especially and granted,
maybe they're going to have a rule where you have 3 pilots and only 2 can. You always have to have 2 in the cockpit.
There's been talk of that, but especially now. I mean, it's 2015. It's not 2001. It's 2015. Biometrics are really good at this point.
Really?
And so you ought to be able to do some kind of just basically it's impossible but any crew member, passphrase, handprint, retinal
especially
scan.
the captain, right?
Right,
The captain's always let in. So, but shouldn't there have been a code or a key that should have let the captain in?
One would think. Which I didn't. I still don't understand why that isn't there. Maybe it's so a terrorist can't put a gun barrel to a captain's head and say, "You must go," do this or die, kind of thing.
Well, then biometrics don't work either.
Right, but if you could probably do it. You could probably do biometrics in such a way or maybe have places for the crew members to hit the terrorist attack button, and so it shuts off the biometrics.
Right.
I don't know. There's no good way to do it. It's kind of like a car. There's just no good. There's no way to make it perfect. People are stupid. People are going to do dumb things.
Man, that self-driving cars is going to fix the world.
Yeah, even then, one was going to screw up and kill like 12 people. And
yeah, but I mean, 12 people die every day on the roads. If it's just one every 6 months that kills, 30 people because something went wrong and everybody's moving at 100 miles an hour several inches from each other, that's acceptable. I accept those terms. That is okay.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But, it's just one of those things there's always inherent risk in everything that we do every day of our lives. Getting up and walking to the bathroom in the morning has inherent risk involved. You could slip and fall. And
not me, man. I'm a bad motherfucker. I'm a ninja. Slide on that water like an ice skater from the Winter Olympics in Russia or some bullshit. Did you hear that Elon Musk they're going to have not self-driving. There's a difference. He wants people to be clearly understand that there's a difference between self-driving and autopilot. But you'll be able to get on a freeway and it'll be able to take you from Los Angeles to San Diego without touching the pedals or the wheel.
That'd be cool. It'd be cool to have that.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I can't wait for self-driving cars where I can just go get in my car like it's an Uber and go to the bar after I've been pre-gaming for an hour. Dude, I'm already drunk and the car's like, dude, I got you, bro. And he just drives you there like it's no big deal. You'll be able to put like artificial AI intelligence in your operating system of the car, name it Herbie.
And then it becomes self-aware and kills us all.
I'm okay with that. What do they call that? What was the bad guy in Terminator?
Skynet.
Skynet, yeah. I, for one, welcome the robot overlords.
You know what? For the most part, I'd be okay with it too. Just give us the just don't kill us and we'll be okay.
So we were talking about the future and crazy things like driving cars.
Mm-hmm.
McDonald's is finally releasing self-checkout kiosk, like self-ordering kiosk.
Yep.
So what do you think of that? Like, if you went into a McDonald's, would you rather, or a Wendy's or whatever, would you rather, well, I don't know how it would work, but I guess you would just click on the number one, and then you would click on the options that you want, or the ones you don't want, and then you just push pay, and you'd run your card through.
Yeah. I
think I'd rather do that than...
Oh, yeah, I would. I've done it with Burger King.
You've done it?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. There's an airport, Atlanta, I think it's Atlanta, that I went through, that they have, the self-serve kiosk. So, yeah, people that, they'll be like... They'll call your name or your number, but that's the only interaction you have with a person.
Really?
Right. And, and for food like McDonald's or Burger King, the sort of the fast food, I don't care.
I don't think so. I don't think it matters at all. Like because we're all used to iPads and touch face interfaces. I think it's just going to become the way of everything now.
And with rising cost of employment, it's becoming more and more expensive to hire people. You have to. This is everyone said, all the detractors of raising the minimum wage said that this would happen. That they would
if you raise it too high, that they'll just start automating it.
They will automate it. And so, yeah, the person who gets to keep their job is going to be making some decent money, but there's going to be 5 people who are losing their job.
That's fine with me.
That's fine with me too.
Let's just trim the fat, like whatever. It's fine. But I have a link here. I guess I'll just go ahead and post it.
One of my favorite things I ever heard was, do you know why the Supreme Court did not allow a minimum wage for a long time?
No.
Because they said that it reduced the person's ability to negotiate with their employers. And so people very rarely ever made equivalently minimum wage because they could negotiate directly with their employer. But now there's so many jobs that people are just like, look, this is it.
This is, look at the economy. The economy, whatever. The economy. Be happy you got a job.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So, it's going to happen. I've read that McDonald's can get a restaurant down to one person. Or maybe two people, like one person drive through, one person running orders in the kitchen or in the dining room. That's it. Two people for the entire restaurant. The rest they can do with robots.
Oh, you mean the cooking? Oh, sorry. That sucks for anybody listening with headphones. You mean the cooking itself could be automated?
Absolutely,
because
all of it.
You would have to have chefs.
Mm-hmm. It's all they can get
chefs.
it down. Yeah.
Look like one of those.
They're going to have to because they are
Goldberg
hemorrhaging money, man.
Are they?
Oh, they're having a rough time.
Yeah.
But this is the issue that I think, and I've thought about this a lot. The level of good food, the price for good food has dropped, sort of dropped, and the level for fast food like McDonald's has come up in terms of price.
True.
So there really isn't that big a difference between McDonald's and like Chili's.
The biggest difference is time.
Right, but
yeah.
Or say McDonald's and Qdoba or Chipotle.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's like $2 different because it used to be like my family of 7 could go to McDonald's for $25.
Yeah, $32 or something we could feed at Wendy's.
Right,
and that was with me and you getting triple cheeseburgers and
absolutely
going ham as motherfuckers, dude. We were getting cheddar sauce on them bitches and like double bacon and.
Oh yeah, exactly. But now.
Like, you remember that time that he ordered 5 extra large fries, and you could see the order on the lady's face, like, it's lunchtime, and that's all of our fries. Yeah, it was funny. Anyway,
so it's not a great option anymore because the price has gone up so much.
Yeah, now it's $52 to go to McDonald's, or it's $57 to go to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
and Chick-fil-A is still a fast food restaurant, right? Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's really good.
It is really good,
and it used to be expensive.
It did used to be expensive for fast food, and now it's pretty average.
It's average for fast food, but it's way better. That's why you see the spike in popularity in Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Such great food for such a price.
Something I did the research on just because I was curious. Because you've heard the Big Mac Index?
No.
Okay, there's this thing called the Big Mac Index, and it is one of the truest ways...
the minimum wage.
No, well, that too, but that's my theory. The Big Mac Index is a way to measure purchasing power across currencies. Because how much does a Big Mac effectively cost in each country that it's sold in? Because it's 99% the same everywhere in the world. And it's actually one of the best indicators of purchasing power in the entire world. It's how much does a Big Mac cost? So I was looking at it and running some numbers.
I'm just time out. You're a weirdo. Okay, keep going. Keep going.
I'm a nerd. What can I say? So I was looking at it, and I started going back through, and the menu price of a Big Mac meal has almost been exactly the price of minimum wage, like 1 hour of minimum wage, and it just held steady the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, as far as making money goes, McDonald's is pretty good at it. Yeah, or they used to be.
Yeah, it's just, more people are more health conscious now. That's one of it too, You
know what I found interesting?
What's that?
I learned recently that Taco Bell did their whole marketing, analysis and figured out that the younger generation wants healthier food. And they just, there's no way for Taco Bell, the name Taco Bell, to ever be perceived as healthy. They just can't do it, right? Mm-hmm. So have you been around anywhere in the towns? Have you seen a U.S. taco?
No.
They're kind of modern hippie, not hippie, but hipster. What's the word? Hipster. Kind of minimalistic, chic kind of design. And you walk in and it's real like, homemade flour tortillas and, fajita,
Right.
Taco Bell.
It's just Taco Bell.
It's just a Taco Bell. They're testing them out. There's one in L.A. and I know there's one in the Woodlands where I used to live. It was right across the street from my apartments. And I went in there once and I was like, this is weird food. Because it's like Taco Bell quality, but fancier. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to like. I was just like, this isn't. I could cook this at the house. It was just weird. I don't know if it'll work or not. Hopefully it does. You know, we need more money. Everybody does.
Everybody does. And like it's also McDonald's is a good way to measure inflation. When I first got out of college, a 10-piece McNugget meal was $5.25. Last time I got it was $6.75. So in 8 years, it's gone up 20%.
That's about right.
That's about right, but it's
my paycheck hasn't gone up 20% though.
No,
somebody's fucking squeezing the system.
Well, that's actually been the big issue after the financial collapse, because up until not comparatively, not for all of history, but late 90s, early 2000s, wage growth was outpacing inflation by a large amount. That's why so many people were so fat. They had a lot of cash because the amount they were making compared to cost of living was higher. So they were progressing faster than cost of living was progressing, and now it's kind of flipped. So that's why it doesn't feel like you're making X amount. It feels like not very much money as you would think it would, just because cost of living, especially depending on where you live, cost of living has really outpaced wage growth.
Or maybe those motherfuckers should get up before 7 o'clock in the morning and get a job that requires skill. Be professional. God damn it!
I'm just talking about across the board. My wage is not growing. Your wage is not as growing as fast as the cost of living is going up. Because it used to be that like the minimum wage you got, the minimum raise you got was a cost of living. They would just match cost of living, if nothing, so you're not losing money. But I remember when I was 2009, 2010, that kind of range, cost of living was going up so fast. I was effectively losing $5,000 because of just the cost of living growth. And my paychecks weren't increasing to match it.
Yeah, that was when everybody was like, "Well, look at the economy. Be glad you have a job." We heard that line for several. Well, fuck them. Be glad you have a good employee. Look at the economy, assholes. I don't know. Fuck them. Fuck this whole system. I don't know. The same amount of cars and the same amount of concrete and the same amount of trees and the same amount of cash and the same amount of computers and the same amount of power stations. They all fucking existed. Somebody somewhere along the system, somewhere along the timeline, fucked the system and we had to pay for it. That's what happened.
Oh, yeah.
But...
yeah, I could get into some of that,
But none of that changed from when I went to bed that night where everything was fine, and then the night I woke up where everything was crashing and the world was losing its mind. It was all the same, but somebody fucked the system and stole a bunch of money out of it. That's the only reason that would happen. Oh. And how they stole the money out of it is, a bunch of different ways, but it was manipulated up into a bubble and then it collapsed and, but still there was no reason for my real world, the same amount of chickens fucking existed, same amount of cows, same amount of pigs, same amount of farms, the cost of living shouldn't have gone up that much, but that was just them squeezing the system. That was just some people that have the ability to squeeze the system exerting their power. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know how to. We should all just buy guns and go kill them, but we don't even know who they are. Like, who's responsible for that shit?
Right. Yeah. I really hope someone actually does some in-depth looking into it. But Lehman Brothers was the company that collapsed that really kind of shook the industry, and they were the first domino to fall. Goldman Sachs. If you look at even the stuff that you can easily look at, it looks pretty shady. They did some really crazy shit right there around that whole time. It's pretty self-evident they fucked us. I don't know. Why is everybody making such a big deal? There's nothing we can do about it. The system that is employed to protect us from that didn't do its job. And it's not going to do its job because those people who fucked us have so much goddamn money
that they can just pay their ways out. Like even if they do have to pay a some type of like reparation or some type of like what do they call that? Some type of penalty or whatever for insider trading. It's usually like less than half the money they made from the trade. So it's like whatever. You know, it's just a tax essentially. It's just the government getting their cut. It's obviously just us getting squeezed.
Yeah, but what I was saying is Lehman Brothers, like the first company that collapsed, is if you look at the trades surrounding it, it was full on 100% pure financial terrorism. The Lehman Brothers would not have collapsed, and maybe the entire system doesn't collapse if someone wasn't pushing them over the edge.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I got in my idea of who it is, but I'll never be able to prove it.
What if Jesus has a Twitter account and nobody knows about it because he only has 12 followers? Probably 11, right? That Judas dude's a bitch.
So let's get into, since we've been all super heavy for the first 30 minutes of this podcast.
Yeah, I know. Let's talk about some fun shit, dude.
So what do you recommend for us today?
Okay. Well, this isn't really fun, but this is kind of like a life bleach thing. So the people who are old enough to remember it, and then there's like another group who are too young to have ever even heard it. But both groups need to either rehear it or hear it for the first time. But there's a song called Everybody's Free, right?
Yep.
What the fuck? I should have looked this up before. But who sang it? Do you know?
It's done by Baz Luhrmann, and it was I don't know if he was completely taken, but it was around, there was someone who basically gave that as a graduation speech a couple years before. And someone bet Baz, who, if you don't know who he is, he did the Leo DiCaprio Romeo and Juliet, he did The New Great Gatsby, he did Moulin Rouge, Australia. You know, he's a director.
Right.
If someone bet him he couldn't win a Grammy, he said, "I'll bet you I can." So he took it. Yeah, I think he won best I think he won a Grammy for it, it was number one at one point. I don't know if he won a Grammy, but it was number one at one point.
It's a sunscreen song.
Right.
You know, everybody trust me to wear sunscreen. And it's just a song of advice. And
it's not really a song, to be honest. It's more spoken word. Like
whatever. It's you buy it on iTunes like it's a song. God damn it.
It's on Spotify.
There's music and people and some dude talking, but there's a lot of that in there that's really good for you. And I'm pretty sure that there's at least one part in there that's specific for everybody. Like there's a part in that song that everybody needs to hear this week. Especially if you actually have the resolve in the whatever the whole world lines up where you actually go ahead and find the song and listen to it. Then for sure there's going to be something in there for you to hear. But
ladies and gentlemen, of 99, wear sunscreen.
I'll go ahead and copy this and put it in the show notes for you. But that's what I recommend this week.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one. Worth checking out.
Oh, and I know this is like a secondary I recommend. Okay. But we've been talking about the Dresden Files for people who have been actually paying attention to the whole series of podcasts that we've been doing. Oh, not to mention today's our official first, we're like an official podcast
right. It's
now.
Episode number 10.
It's 10. Legit. Hey, yeah. Congratulations. Love you, Jacob. But you've heard us talking about the Dresden Files off and on, but I just recently got to like the White Knight. Was it White Knight? Yeah, it's White Knight. Mm-hmm. Man, the series was a good series before that, but by White Knight, holy fucking shit does this series take off and become a highly recommended series. You really need to listen to this. The White Knight leads into Small Favors. Mm-hmm. And Small Favors starts off slow, but ends so goddamn strong that I found myself sitting in the parking lot of like different jobs and stuff, listening for 10 minutes before I would go in and do things.
Oh, you're really getting into it which is weird to say because Dresden Files is great top to bottom, but you're really getting into the meat of the story. If you think of every book as a part of the same story, which they are, you're really getting into the second act.
Yeah, where things are starting to arch and things are starting to come in together, and he's starting to learn. Oh, holy shit! If y'all are listening, y'all need to fucking get on that, man. Awesome! It's on Audible, and you can also get it on Amazon. Just the paperbacks.
Well, yeah. Are you into Turncoat yet?
I just finished Small Favors.
Okay, so it's your next one. That's so good, and so many things change.
It's so good. I'm afraid to keep listening because I don't want because it's getting too. You know what I mean? Like when you're like listening, when you're watching like a glass shake and the frequencies are getting worse. You know, it's just about to shatter and be something completely different. And you're like, well, I kind of like the glass like it is. But in the last book, things are going, you know, just, yeah.
No, it does okay. Like
Michael just got,
you
know about Michael, right? You know, on the island? Oh my God. I wanted to quit listening, dude. I had to I just pushed pause for like, I don't know, a day. I didn't even want to read anymore. I didn't like that part. And then
you're almost to changes. Like
changes. And then when Murphy grabs the sword.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I knew the whole time that she. I can't.
So it is.
Anyway,
so
we're gonna talk about something else
good.
because we're gonna spoil shit for people who might need to listen to this. But I highly, highly recommend it.
Okay, so we're gonna just get right into the big thought. It's not really a big thought, but it's more of
something I wanted to talk about.
Something I wanted to talk about because I was thinking about. I was like, how many? Because we all talk about like how we spend our time, right? It's something we've talked about on this podcast is how you can be really you're especially in our culture now. You're really defined about you're defined through what you consume in media, like video games, movies, TV. You know, a lot of people find a lot of their identity in all of that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down and figure out just how many episodes of television I've seen. And so this is the number of I can absolutely definitively say I've seen these episodes. And it's 3,354 episodes of television.
Did you get the initial D in there?
Oh, I forgot initial D.
See?
Shit.
I knew there was going to be some stuff in there you forgot. You know, that's not the official number. And then this number doesn't even account like all of the random America's Funniest Videos.
Right.
Right, yeah.
And it also
You're probably way higher than that,
It doesn't
dude.
include rewatches.
Right, because you've seen Star Trek like 4 times in a, you know, like most of the episodes 3 times.
Or like some of the Office, some of the episodes of The Office and How I Met Your Mother, I've seen at least 10 times.
You like The Office?
I love The Office. Love it.
That's the one where it's like almost like a documentary like episode. Yeah, that has Steve Carell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I love The Office.
I liked Parks and Rec.
I haven't been able to get into it yet. Everyone's like, just get through the first season and it's gold.
Yeah. You have to get into Ron Swartzen, where he starts to become a character, you know, like where they finally figure out that he's like the main driving force in the show. Oh my God!
So do you want to hear some of the numbers?
Yes.
So
yes.
So Next Generation, 178. DS9, 176. The X-Files, 202.
Stop. You heard, right?
Well, yes, new X-Files. It's a mini-series.
X-Files.
Which I like the way they're doing it. It's like 6 episodes, something like that.
Yeah, they signed on for 6 or 7 episodes, right?
Yeah, so it's going to be like a mini-series kind of thing.
For Netflix?
I think it was going to be for Netflix, and Fox outbid Netflix.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, the truth's out there. How exciting.
South Park, 257, because I've seen every South Park episode at least once, if not twice or 3 times. Okay, and this number I know is too small, but Simpsons is 400 for me on this list. I've seen at least every episode for the first 16 or 17 seasons. And I've seen
Holy
most.
shit,
I've
Jacob.
seen probably 90% of The Simpsons. I love The Simpsons.
Wow. That's incredible.
Let's see. Friends is at 234.
Mm-hmm.
How I Met Your Mother is 208.
That's incredible.
I love How I Met Your Mother. Like, I've probably seen the first. I've probably seen every episode at least 3 times. And, you know, sometimes a lot of that's just in the background, like playing Dota or other video games, you know, it's just in the background.
Sure.
For The Office, I guarantee you I've seen the second season at least 15 times. At minimum 15 times. Those are the really big ones in terms of just large numbers. Boy Meets World, 158. So yeah, I've seen a lot of television. So the question is like, because part of me is really happy I did it. It's been some really great stories and been really entertaining. And the other part of me wonders, what if you had just studied math or something?
Yeah, you want to hear mine?
Sure.
Mine's a little bit different. I recently I did the math to figure out the cost of all of the intoxicants I've ever bought.
Okay.
And I mean the adult ones. So, cigarettes, alcohol, weed, and that's the main ones. I mean, the other stuff is kind of just, you know, periphery. I didn't want to add sex because that seems so vague. Like, how much do you pay for sex? Like, you know, for toys or porn or lube, right? Like, so whatever. Do you want to know the number? This is one of those things that's like, oh my God. But I just averaged it out.
Okay.
But it's about $82,000
Wow.
since I was 17 years old. You know, you have to kind of put together, you know, a pack of cigarette. You know, you just do it's rough math. I mean, who knows?
Right,
I mean,
right.
it could be closer to 100 to all the way down to 60 or something. But the idea is about $85,000. That's close to a house.
Depending on where you are, that is a house.
But then you think about it,
That's a
like, well,
Beamer.
how much nice experience would be, you know, I've had a lot of good times getting drunk with my friends. Or
Yeah.
getting stoned, or, you know what I mean? Like, So I don't know. But I just thought that's one of those where you have those moments where you're like, damn, there's a part of you that's like, wow, that's kind of cool. I've done a lot of, you know, I've been around long enough that the numbers in the RPG are getting big. But if you could take that moment and like just erase it all right now and then just have that 85 grand, would you do it? You know, it's like, well, yeah, probably that 85 grand would be a whole lot more valuable to me now than all of those experiences that I think I had, you know, because I don't remember that many awesome getting drunk with my friends experiences. So I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it?
It is interesting.
Who knows? Life's too short. I'd rather enjoy it than not.
Yeah. It's, you know, part of me is like, yeah, you should have done something else with your time. But, you know, when you look at it, say, you know, between the two, it's a half hour average, right?
Right.
Of actual watching time. So that's 1,600 hours, which sounds like a lot, but that's 16% of the way to being an expert at anything. It's not that much time. So you know, people say the 10,000 hour rule.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what how long 10,000 hours really is?
Yeah, it's like 8 hours a day for like 6 years.
5 years. It's a
Yeah.
full-time job for 5 years.
Yeah.
Which, that's a lot of time.
It's a long time.
It's a long time. So you can't even rush it. If you were doing it 24 hours a day, 365, it'd still be, what, 2.5 years?
A long time.
A long time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just now, you know, for a couple of these things, I'm just now getting into the 1,000-hour range, 1,500-hour range. I'm just now getting decent at what I do.
Yeah. And I'm getting old now where some of these things that require really good hand-eye coordination or fine dexterity skills are starting to slip.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm just now achieving like halfway to expertise in this field, and I will eventually achieve the wisdom and the knowledge of being an expert. but I won't have the actual ability to execute it into the physical world, and that's going to be frustrating, I think. But so it is.
So it is. You want to see my awesome bottle opener?
Yeah. I bought that for you, Jacob.
Yeah. I know.
Did you ever use it?
I just use it right now.
He's like, I've used it once.
Yeah, I use it quite a bit.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to get a magnet for it, so I could just put it on the fridge.
I liked the one you had in your old apartment that had the really powerful magnet on the fridge, and then y'all would pop it, and you would have like these stalactites of fucking of bottle caps that went down like 8-9 inches in different directions. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, you'd have like 50, 60, 70 bottle caps stuck on your fridge.
Oh no, dude, it wasn't nearly that few.
It was cool. It was fun.
Yeah, at one point there was over 200.
Damn.
But oh, God, I used to drink a lot.
You drank a few beers, huh?
A lot. I always used to joke because back when I was about 25, 26 was when I was at my physical peak. Like, it's the best shape I've ever been in my entire life. I was getting the six-pack abs, and I was eating terrible. I was eating Buffalo Wild Wings twice a week, drinking a ton. And I'm just like, man, if I had just cut back a little bit, I would have been really good shape. That is Buffalo wings. That is my one food weakness. I can give up just about anything,
Ooh,
but I love wings. Oh, I love them so much.
love me some wings, dude.
Have you been to a Quaker Steak? Are they down there?
Nope, they're not down here.
I know they're in Dallas. There's one up here. I mean, it's a chain, but I like them a lot more in Buffalo, so we go there quite a bit. It's really good.
Yeah, I love Buffalo Wild Wings. I took the wife there recently, like Friday or something, because she enjoys it too.
Oh yeah. So what's your flavor?
Number one.
Yeah, like if you're gonna go, you're like you're craving buffalo. You're craving this. Like if you're gonna be craving a flavor, it's gonna be this flavor. What is it?
The Asian Zing.
Asian Zing. I like that one a lot.
But I usually get the Asian Zing. You know, like half of my order will be Asian Zing, the other half Caribbean jerk.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
So I go with a combo. And then she does the Parmesan garlic.
Right.
So it's like an eye bleach palate cleanser. It's like, this, we'll get rid of some of the
traditional, boneless.
Boneless. What's up?
No, I gotta go with traditional.
Fuck that. Fuck that. I like the breaded. I like it breaded.
The breading's too thick for me for buffalo.
No, I like it. I like it.
It's just like a really tough chicken nugget.
What? I gotta go get some alcohol. I'll be back.
Oh, and I win that fight with Ryan. And back to Adam Warrock, who is awesome.
Can't hear these things from you. Yeah, but I don't know. Boneless is so hard to actually. Oh, it's hard to eat. But talking about hard to eat, it's fucking crawfish festival. Or crawfish time. Too bad you're not down here, dude.
Oh, no.
Man, we were going ham on some crawfish lately, dude. Just throwing them big red giant mud bugs covered in cayenne pepper sauce and just like melting your
blisters your lips and you're just
eating the corn in your
town. Oh.
It's a battle of will between your hand and your mouth.
The corn is so good, but it's so hard to eat because it's just exploding. You're getting all that super hot cayenne.
All over your lips and shit.
If you're not from the South, if you've never been to a crawfish boil, you have to understand.
Come down and I'll show you what's up.
The big things of cayenne pepper. They literally just take the top off and dump the entire thing in.
Fucking the whole thing.
Your big pile.
And then when you're done with that batch, you open another one and you pour it in with the second batch. So as the day goes on, that shit gets strong.
Oh, it's
strong. Shit gets strong. You have to wear gloves.
My dad's boss made his with crawfish, artichokes, corn, sausage. The sausage was amazing.
We did shrimp too.
Oh, shrimp.
Shrimp and rice. We had potatoes.
An entire thing of cayenne pepper.
A little bitty red potatoes.
6-pack of beer. Oh, the potatoes.
Beer.
Yeah.
We should do that. We should just pour scotch in that motherfucker. We were taking shots of it.
You were taking shots of scotch?
Well, we had them in shot glasses, but they were sipping it.
Okay, about to say. Well, depending on the scotch. Because if it's one of those low-grade scotches, you know...
It was so expensive they didn't want to give me a glass of it. And these guys are rich, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It was something Zadups or 15 or something bullshit. I don't know. Not really.
The most expensive bottle I've ever seen, and I just saw a picture of it. But Kelly, when we first got married, she worked at a liquor store in Tulsa Hills, which was a very nice shopping center in Tulsa. And they had a was it Belvini? Oh, I'm blanking on the name, but it was a 40-year scotch.
Oh.
10G a bottle.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's just baller status.
Yeah, the guy who owned the liquor store was also either orthopedic surgeon or a plastic surgeon or something like that. But man, if you have a good liquor store, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, just drug dealing.
Yeah, they were. This particular.
Wait till weed gets legal. You'll be able to make some fucking money selling weed too.
This liquor store, and they had the thinnest margins they could because they wanted to compete on price along with selection. They had the best selection in Tulsa and the best price. They were pulling in $250,000 to $300,000 a month.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. That's real money. It was awesome. Is next door they opened up like a high-end cigar place. So they had like a humidor, and because in Oklahoma they have weird laws, so you can't sell at a liquor store. You can only sell things with more than 5% alcohol in them. So you cannot buy like Coke where you buy your scotch. You just can't do it. Yeah, their laws are very archaic and they're very weird. So what they did is they opened up a market next door.
Right, exactly.
They even had a door that went between the two. But technically, there was two different registers. Right. You couldn't take stuff. If you had bought it, you could take it in, but you couldn't take unbought merchandise between the two. But oh yeah, they had some crazy good stuff, and something like I did not realize just how good of prices I was getting until I moved here. Like I saw a bottle of scotch that I was used to getting for $40, a good bottle of scotch, mind you, but still $40, $62 here.
Damn.
Yeah, significant.
Why is that? Because they're ancient up there?
Well, it's every liquor store
more
here.
More laws you got to pay for?
Every liquor store here is run by the state.
Ugh, gross.
So they have, and a lot of people probably don't know this, but alcohol prices change weekly. And so, yeah, it just depends on demand. It's very demand sensitive. And in Pennsylvania, every store has to sell everything for the same price. That was weird.
What happened?
Oh, my Skype got stupid. All right, I'm good. We're good. We didn't lose anything. For a second, I thought my computer had crashed.
No.
So in Pennsylvania, you have to sell everything for the same price across the entire state. And so if you have someone who buys, like a Macallan 12, and they buy it the wrong time, and it's 65 instead of 55, everyone has to raise their price to $65. It's very expensive. It can be very expensive to drink booze here. The beer prices are good. The beer prices are pretty good.
Well, good.
We went to our beer distributor yesterday to pick up some new stuff.
Sounds weird.
Well, and we saw the 120-minute IPA. I've only seen it once in my entire life. Like this is like the unicorn. What's funny is that it's so hoppy, it's sweet. It tastes like wine. It literally, you would not believe it's hoppy. It's so sweet. We're like, how much is it? And they're like, it's kind of expensive. I was thinking $7,500 for a case, so 24 of them. They're like, yeah, it's $175 a case. Like, well, we're just gonna pass.
How much?
$175.
Almost $200, huh?
Mm-hmm. So I've been meaning to do the math. We'll do the math.
What's the percentage of alcohol in something like that?
13%.
No shit.
It might be higher.
Get you drunk, huh?
Oh, all you need is one. All you need is one. Yeah, it is literally wine.
How much was the what did they call that one that Samuel Adams made that was so special?
Oh, the Utopias. It was 20 something percent. Okay, so the 120 minute IPA is 18% alcohol.
Wow. Who makes it?
Dogfish Head.
So what does it mean 120 minute? So it was boiled for 120 minutes and they just continuously added hops the whole time?
Continuously added hops for 120 minutes. But the thing that makes Dogfish really good and their IPA is very good is they will give you enough malts to counteract the hops. It's still really hoppy, but it's not that paint stripping hoppy. It's not the kick you in the teeth hoppy.
I can't do it. Yeah, it's not for me, man.
I love them. Like, so I'm drinking one. Well, it was a West Coast IPA.
Gummy bears. Gummy bears.
Have you seen the stuff online about the awesome ways to get drunk? Like they'll make like alcohol candy.
No shit.
Or like
Did
dirty.
you hear about powdered?
Like,
the powdered alcohol that was recently
yes.
approved by the FDDA?
Mm-hmm. That's gonna cause some issues.
That's gonna be awesome. We're gonna be able to snort alcohol, dude.
Pass.
I don't mean that. Yo. Please,
Pass,
anybody listening to this, please don't snort that powdered shit. That's gonna kill you. And if it doesn't kill you, you're gonna wish you were dead.
God, you know what that? Oh,
Woo-wee.
hard pass.
Ooh,
Hard
doggy.
pass. Hard pass.
Hard pass. Nope. So, have you seen any good movies or any good TV shows recently that anybody needs to know about?
Any good movies? Actually, you know me in movies.
Well, I mean, you're the go-to guy, so that's why I'm kind of throwing it out there. Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen one in 2015.
You weirdo.
I know, right? There's nothing good out. Like, well, there's just not a lot I want to see. And for the most part, I'll just wait for it. You know, Blu-ray or Netflix or whatever. So, no, but we're about 6 weeks away from the Avengers 2, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Yeah.
Age of Ultron. And that'll set up the Infinity War, which will be Avengers 3.
Shit's about to get real, y'all.
It's going to be really real. And because of the deal worked out with Sony, there's been pictures floating around that maybe Spider-Man's going to be having an appearance in Avengers 2.
Uh-oh.
So there was a picture of someone who definitely had, red gloves and a red chest kind of thing he had this big overcoat on, but like you could see him with Joss Whedon and you're just like, ooh, that's probably Spider-Man.
Yeah. I also saw that Deadpool. They released the first official Deadpool photo.
I hope they don't screw it up like they did in that Wolverine movie.
I think they're trying not to, but they probably will.
Because Deadpool
is very difficult to pull off.
He is very difficult to pull off because he's crazy.
And he breaks the fourth wall.
He's the only character allowed to break the fourth wall.
And he's a bad guy, kind of. He's just kind of a clueless idiot that's really good at what he does. And he's just so not giving a fuck and such a badass that he comes off in this real kind of Tyler Durden way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's interesting. I hope they pull it off well. They should have probably had Brad Pitt do it.
Brad Pitt was younger.
Too old, right? Yeah.
I don't know. I really like Ryan Reynolds.
I did too. I'm not talking shit about the guy who got it, but that is pretty cool. Did you hear about the other kind of nerd interesting thing?
I hear about a lot of nerd interesting things. You're going to be more specific.
CBS is talking to Bryan Singer about directing Star Trek TV. like a new TV series,
Interesting. I
kind of
hadn't.
based off the J.J. Abrams universe and
That would be good.
not the original universe.
Hmm.
Interesting.
It would be interesting. Star Trek was meant to be on television. That's just
Yes.
all there is to it.
Yep.
Star Trek should be on TV.
Yeah, the Alien of the Week, the soap opera for the
yeah,
nerd.
it gives you
Yeah.
just that long progressing story,
Uh-huh.
and now that it's the thing to do and people understand it, it might actually work better.
Where you do like a 6-season, like where the story's already completely written. You have storyboards for all
Kind of.
6 seasons, and you kind of go through this like a Breaking Bad storyline.
Right. Okay, you're going to look at me funny when I say this, but you asked for a recommendation for TV or movie. We have been watching The Gilmore Girls on Netflix. And it is, one, surprisingly good, and two, was way ahead of its time. It was because it started in, I want to say, 99.
Wow.
And it was a week after week continuous story. And there's still, we're in the 5th season. They're still referencing story parts that happened seasons ago. It feels like a very modern television show, but, was 15 years. It's very old now. So I would recommend that. It's pretty funny. The mom is pretty hot, so, that doesn't hurt either.
Yeah, man, I'm into hot stuff.
I'm trying to remember her name. I can never remember her name. I know it is in the show.
So I was roaming around on the Twitters, and for anybody who's curious, it's at 42podcast.com or at 42podcast on for Twitter, and it's the word 40, the number 2 podcast. But I found this interesting article talking about the utter collapse of human civilization will be difficult to avoid, says NASA. That's the headline anyway. And they did some pretty complicated math that uses some pretty what the fuck, is that even a word? Some basic principles, so like 3 or 4 different variables in the equation. And I read the whole article, but what it basically ended up saying is that we either have to severely limit the population growth, like the amount of people who are born, or we have to essentially become a socialist world, like the entire globe has to become real socialist about moving, wealth around to everybody. But everybody that gets that will still has to pull their collective weight. Like it doesn't have to be like a greedy socialism, but it has to be like this perfect utopian version of socialism. And it's just like, well, we're all just going to die then. Because neither one of those options are going to happen.
No, definitely not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
She's pretty.
I'll have to look at this when I have
Gotta find
time.
the topless versions of her. What's up, Google? Hook a brother up.
Well, I wasn't specifically looking for that, so I've...
No, I'm just playing. You want to hear some good news?
Sure.
Or some just good, fun, uplifting news? I was on Reddit, and so occasionally Reddit takes care of people like this for some, random reason. But this lady sends out this Facebook post to one of her groups talking about her son who's 13-year-old. He's bullied, right? Like he's autistic. Or no, he's not autistic, but he has Asperger's, which is like on, the kind of the left side of the spectrum of autism.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of like a functioning autism, but he doesn't have any friends and he's been real bullied. So they were going to have a party at the bowling alley and nobody RSVP'd. And he was real disappointed that nobody would show up. So she put it on Facebook, and the modern day age of like, things going viral. It went viral. It hit Reddit and it hit Twitter and things went insane, right? So he had like Justin Trudemore, I can't even say his name, but the guy, some real famous guy off of Twitter was famous. Carrie Underwood was tweeting him. Like 1,300 people showed up like to the place. No, 200 people showed up to the bowling alley to give him presents and shake his hand and say hi. He got 4,000 texts because his mom put his cell phone number on the internet. I just thought it was kind of like one of those, like, oh, that's sweet. And I thought it was an interesting thing. Like, isn't that interesting that the internet can do that kind of stuff? You know, the homeless guy gives the ring back, you know, that's worth $2,000, and the internet gives him $500,000 for it. It's these weird, extreme, you know, oh, that's the wrong person. I sent that to the wrong person.
Why do I have this link?
Yeah, it's like, who's this? And why does it matter to me? I'm just going to make fun of this guy.
Speaking of the internet and Twitter, I would like to say hello to all the new Twitter followers. We've got about 10 this week.
Yay!
And yeah, I don't know who any of you are, but, you know, thank you. I do appreciate it. Actually, we've gotten someone during this while we've been broadcasting.
That's awesome.
So at Roger Grubbs, at Nina1586.
Oh, I know her. I know that one.
I figured. I saw she had a lot of tweets from Houston, so I thought you knew her. At Johnny B. Gamer.
What's up, Johnny B?
At Callan Young.
Callan Young.
At True Racer.
Like, True Racer.
Yeah, he's a YouTube guy that does a lot of your iRacing stuff. I've watched some of his stuff. It's pretty good.
I love iRacing. Man, just you brought it up. I got my first place this week.
Nice.
I've been in the rookie class for the last 2 weeks and finally got firsts. It's a good feeling.
So
I really, if anybody has any inclinations to want to ever race in their life, get a steering wheel, like a force feedback steering wheel, and start iRacing. It's a great, 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 great way to start.
So how does it feel like compared to a car?
Okay, so it's a video game version of a car. Like, there's no doubt about it. But once you get used to like the way the car feels for the game, it holds true. It holds really true to itself. So the physics for the world are very true. Like, it doesn't seem to like go one way and then break and go the other direction all of a sudden when you go past the lines for certain things or whatever. It's real true, but it's not quite real life. I will say that. It's not quite real life.
Okay.
But I have done the adult go-kart racing they have here in Houston. They have these go-karts that'll do about 47 to 48 miles an hour on the back straight. And they're electric and they're indoor, but it's extremely tight, aggressive, really hardcore racing. It's really, really fun. It's called K1, and it's not for kids. You have to have a driver's license to even get in these go-karts, and they're super powerful and fun. But that's the closest I've ever been to real-life racing, right? Where you really dive into the corners, and braking's really important, and, you know, each corner requires brakes, and, you know, apexes and stuff are important. And if you do like 3 or 4 races in a row on those go-karts, you're sore. You're physically like tired because of the adrenaline rush and you're squeezing so hard. iRacing, once you get where you can control the cars and you're actually involved in the races and you're going around the other cars and you're having to pass and you're having to, you know, actually brake and accelerate around the corners and go around the other cars, it gives you the exact same feeling of, you know, intensity. Like, you get these just massive adrenaline rushes and super, super satisfying when you pass people. I highly, highly recommend it. If you have any inclinations when you were a kid to be a race car driver, try iRacing out. Holy shit, man. Great, 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 great fun. Great fun. Unbelievably fun. And truly humbling. Unbelievably difficult. Because I always thought of myself as a good racer. I'm not. There are some people on here who can just demolish me. And that's kind of fun. I enjoy being challenged. You know, something to look forward to and strive for.
Good.
So.
Good. And, yeah, maybe one day when I have the extra cash for a good steering wheel.
Yeah, I would recommend. So I went ahead and went cheap. You know, so there's price points. You can spend, you know, like $90 to $100, $150 to $160, or like $200 to $250. Well, I went with the 150, the 160, thinking that would be good enough. It's not. But if you're willing to pony up to $220 for a good steering wheel, it comes with a good steering wheel, a good shifter, and a clutch, pedal, brake, you know, gas pedal. It's like all 3 pedals. and it's really, really good. It has the LED lights above the steering wheel that tell you when to shift. It's wrapped in leather and made out of aluminum. It has the shifts, the shift pedals behind the steering wheel. It's you need to spend at least 220. That's the cheapest you can go. And if you had the money, you'd really want to spend about 1,000. But you don't have to. You can really, really get away with the Logitech G27. That's the steering wheel. That's the entry level steering wheel.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you can go a little more, you can go 300. You can get the T300 from Thrustmaster, and that is a step above the G27. So, yeah. And then once you get into the high end, you want to go to the Club Sport or Fanatec. Fanatech.
Nice. Nice.
The Club Sport version 2, they make real good stuff.
Yep. Did you ever see the big mech controller that they came out? I don't remember what game it was. Do you remember what it was? It was like a $500 controller.
I'm trying to remember
like
the game. I can't remember the game, but the controller was insane. Wasn't it for the Xbox?
Steel Battalion.
Battalion.
This is what it is.
Yeah, it was a mech simulator. And all the buttons had functions, and they all did things. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll show the people here. You can see it. Oh, gotta slide it over. There we go. This guy, I'm seeing at least 25, if not 30 buttons, 3 pedals, 2 joysticks. I always wanted to play it.
Me too.
Just for the fun of that crazy controller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I miss the old version of Xbox and PlayStation when they were trying to figure out the new modern, powerful 3D world they had at their fingertips. There were some really great games that were built back then.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm trying to think of what I would consider just a great game from the original Xbox era.
Mech Assault.
Mech Assault, yeah. Obviously Halo 1, the game that saved Xbox. I guess that was what, PS2? PS2 had been out for a while, right?
Well, they kind of competed. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I mean, there's a lot of great games on PS2.
There was
a ton of those games.
Yeah. Yeah, those are both two great systems. I think if you went back and had to compare them, probably the PlayStation 2 wins. But I played Xbox more, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in terms of just games sold, Xbox wasn't really a big threat until the 360. That's when it really became, a system and a name. Yeah. And hell, a lot of people didn't think the Xbox was going to make it, and then Halo happened. And then the next thing you know, everyone's playing Halo.
Halo released with the system. Because I got Xbox, the original Xbox for Christmas, which was the Christmas it released, and I had Halo as one of the presents.
I really thought that the first Halo was after. But it might have got eventually bundled.
Mm-mm. No, I remember opening them separately. I opened my Xbox, and then I opened my Halo. But my original Xbox had the giant controllers that you couldn't hold as a child. The ones that
giant controllers.
They were giant controllers. That was my first system. And I remember playing Halo on it, my grandfather getting mad at me. And I remember my mind melting to the graphics. Could not believe the difference between Xbox.
They were.
For Nintendo 64 to Xbox. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
You're right. I didn't realize that Halo was a launch title.
Yeah, no, it's what made Xbox worth even buying. Yeah.
Those giant controllers / murder weapons.
They were awesome.
I loved them too, but you could beat someone to death with those things. They were
Yes, you could. Yes, you could. I thought they were great, though. I thought they had great design, but nobody else liked them.
So here we go.
Yes.
The question of all questions.
No,
Best
I doubt
controller of all time.
GameCube.
Ooh.
GameCube.
Ooh.
Especially if you modify it to have the same joystick that you have on this thumb on the C stick.
Mm.
Greatest game controller ever.
I did like the GameCube.
Fuck yeah.
For me, it's the 360. I think it's the greatest controller. It's very ergonomical. I do like the GameCube a lot. But
the GameCube had the most amount of buttons with the shortest amount of reach with the least amount of fatigue. Best ergonomical design. Yeah, no, fuck yeah, it was the GameCube. For sure.
For sure.
In my opinion. Yeah.
Ever go back and play like an original Nintendo? Yes. It just hurts so bad. You're like,
it sucks.
How did I hold this for hours, days on end? I don't know if it's still a thing, but back in the day, we used to talk about Nintendo Thumb, for how it would just be raw from hitting buttons for hours on end.
I got the worst Nintendo Thumb from the Xbox 64, from the joystick thumb itself. From, pushing on the joystick so hard that this part would get sore.
Oh, for me, especially on the 64, was the sides where I'd flick it and stuff. Oh, I'd get like...
Have you gone back and held a 64 controller?
Not recently.
Design.
It was a great design.
Great design. Great game. Great controller.
If you were right-handed. Not so much if you're left-handed.
That's probably true.
Oh,
but both hands are doing the equal amount of shit. That's most likely just an excuse for shitty players.
Yeah.
Calling you out, left-handers. Fuck you.
What I always found interesting about the ports between PlayStation and Nintendo 64 is, I don't know what it was, but for whatever reason, especially in games like Tony Hawk, I could always jump just a little bit farther in the N64 version. I guess it was the engine or something.
I think it was the engine.
But there were certain gaps that you couldn't make in the PlayStation that you could make in the Nintendo.
Could barely make them, and then in the Nintendo they were kind of easy, or just hard instead of impossible. Yeah.
Right.
You remember when we found the faceplant gap? Yeah. For anybody who's never played the original Tony Hawk, like I don't blame you if you don't want to play it now because the graphics are so shitty and stuff, but that really was, man, me and Jacob spent thousands of
so much time
hours on that game.
So good. It's bad.
Yeah.
If you ever look at the records for that game, like I thought we were good. I really did. No. So
yeah, but that's because we quit playing.
It's true.
We were on par at the point when we were still playing. Because we would check the records and it'd be like 550,000 or like, 730,000 on the levels that we played, and we were getting around that. So it wasn't like we couldn't compete then. We just kind of quit playing,
Yeah, it's true.
Which is good for us. There's so many other good games to go play.
There's a ton of games to go play. I'm trying to see if I can't find it. I can't find it.
For what?
Oh, I was trying to find the scores. For Tony Hawk. That was back before you could transition and do crazy things. Hey, getting all sorts of retweets.
From what?
I posted a couple of the people that we were mentioned and gave shout outs to.
Awesome.
I sent them that. I posted that on Twitter and get some favorites and some retweets and some replies. So, gotta love Twitter. Like for the longest time, like Twitter first came out, I didn't get it. It took a while for me to kind of understand Twitter. Once I did, I love it. Like I don't have Facebook anymore. I quit my Facebook a couple of years ago now.
I have it, but I don't ever do anything on it.
See, for me, that's kind of where I was. It's like, this is just a security risk. There's way too much personal information on that page, and I never look at it to know if someone's fucking with it.
Oh, that's true. I probably should go ahead and delete it then.
Yeah, so, I don't know. And then, pretty soon it's going to be, whatever takes its place. Because it's already kind of starting to slide.
Yep. You think it'll be Google?
No, they suck at social.
Yep.
Suck at social.
Yeah,
well, that reminds me, speaking of Google, have you seen YouTube Live?
No, but I heard it. I've I've heard the rumbles of it. What is it exactly? They're talking about trying to
It's basically their Twitch.
going after Twitch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that'll be interesting because now you're gonna have because Amazon owns Twitch, and so you're gonna have these two giant companies throwing money at people to get them to be on there. Like it's if you're a professional broadcaster, kind of on that edge, you're probably gonna the amount of money they're going to be throwing at you to get you to move or stay is probably going to be huge kind of money.
Cool. I'm glad there's a lot of people that need to be rewarded for their hard work. I have a bunch of people that I've watched, that deserve some good money.
Oh, absolutely. Now, this one girl, I don't get to watch her anymore because my work has changed, but I first started watching her. She had 40 subs, like 40 people who had favorited her, and last time I looked, she was in the thousands.
Nice.
Good for you.
Yeah,
and
she's cool.
And she's a girl that she doesn't use a cam, so it's not like, hey, look at me, I'm hot kind of thing.
Oh.
So she just plays the games, and she plays everything, and so it's really nice. I started watching her because she was playing through BioShock. It's like, because BioShock, it's basically a movie. So I would be working, and I would have her playing BioShock on my other screen.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Which I don't know. I love the idea that like Twitch is a thing. And
I love Twitch.
Here's those guys who are like, hey, let's do video games.
Yeah, Twitch is on my
It doesn't. When you first think about Twitch, it doesn't really seem like something that would be a big deal.
Right.
Watch other people play video games.
Right. It does work though. I enjoy it.
Oh, I love it. Mm-hmm. I love Twitch. I don't get to watch it much at all anymore.
Oh, it's my main form of entertainment. I either go there or YouTube.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
You get up on the TV, watch it on the big screen.
Yes, because Xbox has a bunch of different applications.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Xbox does have a Twitch. They have an official Twitch app, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and YouTube, so you can do the YouTube and the Twitch on. It's real easy.
Yeah. Yeah, we were kind of looking at stuff for our other TVs to put media on them. So right now, like downstairs, we have a Roku 3, but we have another TV, which I don't know if I want to put our Chromecast on, if I want to get another Roku for, I don't know. Right. Chromecast is cool. I mean, it's a cool device, but it's unless you know what you're doing, it's kind of hard to deal with unless you have the setup for it. Basically, unless you don't have an Android.
Right.
Or iOS, for that matter, but I don't know. So, we'll see. But if you ever want, like, anyone out there listening, if you ever want recommendations on how to do this kind of stuff, because I am a full-on cord cutter. I am on top of everything. Like, if there's development in this world, I know about it.
Yeah.
And I have... I have I have recommendations for any piece of hardware, software, you name it. I can do, I can help you out.
Hit us up on the email or the Twitter.
Email or Twitter, either one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I cut the cord, but I didn't do it in the fashion that you did it. I just kind of cut the cord and then suffered. It's just like, no big deal. I got Netflix and YouTube. I mean, that's pretty much all you really need. You can get through with most of Netflix and YouTube. So
you really can. Hulu is really nice to have too, and it's cheap.
I am not gonna pay to watch commercials.
You do it most people do it every day with satellite television. They pay for that for commercials.
I don't. Yeah, that's the reason I quit paying for Sirius.
Couldn't handle the commercials, huh?
Nah, just I'm not gonna give you the $17 a month or whatever the fuck Sirius Radio is to not have for you to play commercials to sell the airtime. Like, I don't know. Sorry, I'm just not gonna do it.
Oh man, so many good things. Because especially living where you are, you need it. If you don't have an HD antenna, you need an HD antenna.
True.
You can get if you're in a big city, HD antennas are the way to go. You'll be able to get 10, 15 channels, perfect, crystal clear, high def. Because the nice thing about over there is they don't compress it.
Right.
So it's full on. I don't even want to know how big that signal really is. Huge.
Right.
It's got to be huge. Just gorgeous. Oh, it's like, especially watching sports.
Yes.
So
Sports
good.
is amazing.
So good. And NFL is on network television, so you can watch, especially if you want to watch NFL football.
That and you get the races and different things.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
the Olympics when they come to town.
Yeah. If you're into college football, it's a bit harder to do.
Right. That's true.
But now with Sling, you can get ESPN, ESPN2 for $20 a month.
That's a lot, but whatever.
Right, but they also just added A&E, so now you can get your not Breaking Bads. Used to be Breaking Bad. Walking Dead's, Better Call Saul's, and it also has the History channels on there too.
Nice.
So I'm getting close. I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but I'm getting close. If they add 4 or 5 more things for $20, I might do it. I'm like, it's just cheap enough. I don't know.
Right.
I may not. We have so much TV lined up. Because we actually have a schedule. Like, we're gonna finish Gilmore Girls, and we're gonna watch The Americans, which is a show I really enjoy, but we've only seen like the first half season. And then after that, I'm gonna sit down and we're gonna watch Lost. I've been meaning to watch that show for a decade now, and it's kind of like I was talking about last week. Every time someone says, "Hey, you should watch Lost," all I'm hearing is, "Hey, you should really try heroin." That's what I feel like when people are telling me I should watch Lost. So after that's Lost, and after Lost, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. That's where I am.
I'm working through Death Note right now.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a great show on Netflix, but it's an anime.
I love the Netflix. Like, what Netflix has done on television has been amazing. I love it. I love it so much. And pretty soon we're going to get Game of Thrones back, which I'm super excited about.
Most people are who pay attention to the Game of Thrones universe, yeah.
See, like, I'm one of those people. I like the show. The show's good. I don't give a shit about the books.
Yeah.
Just don't care. But the show's good. It's fun. Peter Dinklage for the win,
Right.
Homeboy doing good things. And another one I'm really looking forward to that's coming back is Silicon Valley.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's Mike Judge. So the guy, Idiocracy, King of the Hill, Beavis and Butthead, that guy.
Yeah.
He's got the show on HBO that just rips apart the startup culture in Silicon Valley. It is hilarious.
I bet that is good.
Especially for someone who watches that whole scene as closely as I do, it's just like these people think they're just so self-important. You just
kind of hits home. Yeah,
it's so fun. I love it. I love most of his work. He does good work, in my opinion. Man.
I really enjoyed the Beavis and Butthead. That was one of those shows that I really was a big fan of. I loved it.
I like that one too.
I was a little too young to really enjoy it, but
King of the Hill for me, I really enjoyed.
King of the Hill was funny. Oh, absolutely.
And then Idiocracy. It's just a fantastic movie. Extract is also a very good movie if you want something different. Some early Mila Kunis. Yeah, that's one of those women. I'm just like, every time I look at her, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. It's not hard to look at.
No
doubt about it.
It's one of those women. My wife is like, you know what? I would leave you for her. It's like it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, I'd be upset, but I would get it. I get it.
I don't blame you.
Wonderful West Coast IPA. Love it. Well, you seem to be slowing down pretty good, Ryan. You want to just call it a night?
Yeah, I guess we're getting kind of later into it. I'm getting tired. The wife's going to bed and stuff, so I guess I need to kind of wrap it up soon.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being around for 10 full episodes. What
Yay!
a real podcast. Yeah. I don't know how good of an episode this one was, but we'll see tomorrow.
Why? That wasn't that bad.
I assume you listen to every show.
Everyone.
Right. So how have you started to find things in your speech patterns that just annoy you to no end? Mm-hmm. You're listening to yourself going, shut up, Ryan.
Yes, Jacob, I am, and I apologize for all of them. I am sorry. Don't make me feel worse than I need to. I assume that you mean that you found them also, going over them?
No, for me.
You found yours? I have no idea what you sound like. I don't even listen to you.
I think actually, I feel like you have a lot better flow than I do.
That is not true. All I do is cut you off. That's all I do. That's all I ever do. You go to say half a thought, and I'm like, what, you mean this? Yeah, listen to it carefully. Yeah, I'm an asshole. I come off as a total know-it-all douche. Yeah. But I'm working on it. I'm working.
Like episode 7 in particular, I say like all the time. and so I'll, even in my regular speech, every time I say like, even if it's the appropriate word to say, like, to draw a comparison to, I cringe. And so, I guess if nothing else, it's making this podcast is making me talk better.
Yeah, I'm definitely working on it. Being more patient, letting the conversation kind of flow, listening to you more instead of just cutting you off and trying to. I don't know what I was trying to prove, that I'm smart. Like I knew what you were gonna say. Like, I don't. What is that? I don't know what it is.
I can meander sometimes.
I just get so just excited.
See, my problem is when I try to explain things, is my brain does this. And the next thing I know, I have 8 thoughts going on at once, and I cannot get them all out in one succinct manner.
Yeah. Yeah, and I forget what we were talking about. We'll go down tangents, and then I was like, wait, he was going to say something before I cut him off. Damn it.
We'll get it figured out eventually, right?
All right.
Well, everyone, thank you. Have a good night. It's been fun, and we'll see you next week.
Good night. I didn't have any real responsibilities that day, and neither did my mom. So it's like one of those situations where I woke up and I kind of turned the TV on lazily, and the first plane had already hit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this is weird. And in a weird way, I guess things were just so different back then that when you saw it, it was so strange that it was almost comical, or almost like it was more of a mistake and not an attack. It was just like, how the hell could someone fly an airplane into a building?
Right. Well, and everyone was saying it was a small airplane. They didn't realize it was the Boeing,
Yeah, and if you want to know where I was getting the report from, I was on a TV that got like, you had the little knobs that would give you like 8 and 2 or whatever, and had like the coat hanger wire antenna. And because it was in my bedroom and my mom didn't want me to have a TV, so I had to like put the whole thing together myself. But anyway, I was watching the 700 Club because it came on 55 The Tube, which just happened to be one of the channels that I could get really crystal clear. So I just turned the TV on and was getting ready, and that whoever that guy is, he was giving the report, and he said it was a Cessna, a little small airplane.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I'm watching, and I go get my mom, and I'm like, "Hey, there was an airplane that just flew into the World Trade Center." And she's like, "What?" So she comes over and watches. So as we walk back into the room, and the other airplane hits the other tower. On live TV, just plows into and we were both like, "Oh my God!" And from then on, she was like, "We got to go to your grandma's." So we went to her mother's, and I don't know, for the next 2 days we watched the TV.
Yeah.
For the next 2 days we watched the TV.
Yeah, for some reason, because we were both homeschooled, for those in the audience who don't know, we were both homeschooled, and my curriculum was late getting to me, so I didn't have any school that day. I had woken up, gone and run the bleachers at the Oklahoma State football stadium at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you were into that.
Went home and went back to sleep. And then my mom comes in and says, someone has just bombed the World Trade Center. Because depending on who you were watching, you didn't know what it was. Some people thought it was a bomb, some people thought it was a plane.
Yeah, it was only on fire.
Right. And so I came in, and that's right when it just that second jet hit. And then not too long after that, the tower fell, which was crazy watching that thing drop.
And then the second tower fell not long after.
No.
It was weird. Such a surreal night.
The most awesome, not in a good way,
Sexy.
but the most awesome thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like nothing.
Awesome in the way
just
of
leaves you just like in awe. You're just like, what? It's a terrifying awe, but you're still just like, what's going on?
Yeah, the definition of awesome, like break it down, like awe. Like the sum of awe. Like you're just like, yeah. Yeah. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe that happened.
Yeah.
And it wasn't long after that we were bombing them. It was weird. So I don't know. Do you think they should have done what they did? Like, do you think they should make the cockpits easier to get into now? Like, do we just keep going back and forth on this pendulum of safety and access and safety and?
I mean, especially and granted,
maybe they're going to have a rule where you have 3 pilots and only 2 can. You always have to have 2 in the cockpit.
There's been talk of that, but especially now. I mean, it's 2015. It's not 2001. It's 2015. Biometrics are really good at this point.
Really?
And so you ought to be able to do some kind of just basically it's impossible but in Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 42. And with us, as always, starting co-host 6'2" from Tomball, Texas, Mr. Ryan. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm great. How are you, Jacob?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, it's a nice Sunday night here. Ooh, forgot to click the button. There we go. Now the world can see us.
Awesome. Hi, world.
Hi.
Did you know life is like coming into a movie in the middle, having someone explain what's happening before you came in, trying to figure out what's going to happen next, and getting kicked out before it ends? It's like, gosh damn it.
It's a true statement.
This is true. Thank you, Reddit. So, man, there's been some crazy shit this week.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What the fuck?
Well, I'm assuming you're talking about the plane crash.
I think that's the best place to start.
Yeah.
I mean, unless we want to go there later, but
No, it's good.
That's pretty much the topic on everybody's mind, I think, right now.
It's crazy for sure. It raises a lot of interesting questions. I think here in the U.S. and sort of privacy questions. Will airlines and other businesses be able to force people that work for them to give up their HIPAA rights? Because the co-pilot.
When you say HIPAA rights, what do you mean?
HIPAA is, I don't remember exactly what it stands for, but it's basically the code of your privacy. So that's why you had to sign documentation for anyone to know your medical history.
Mm-hmm.
And so, granted, this wasn't here in the U.S., but it raised the question because the co-pilot who crashed the plane, his doctor had deemed him medically unfit to fly, and he hid it from his employer. So
can you give us the basic rundown of what happened? For anybody who may not know, one guy.
This is what I have been told. This was Air Germany?
Right, German Wings,
right?
Mm-hmm.
They were flying over the Alps. The
Right.
pilot went out, I guess, to the bathroom.
Some form of leave the cockpit.
Right, and the co-pilot locked him out.
And is this a case of where we have such security measures to make sure that people can't get into cockpits, that the guy inside the cockpit has so much control of that situation?
There are a lot of people saying that, yes.
Okay,
There's no way to. There were reports, and you could hear apparently in the recordings in the black box of the pilot trying to break down the door and get in and save
reportedly with an axe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some freaky fucking man. It's hard to put yourself in that situation.
Right.
So anyway, he locks himself in and then proceeds to essentially just descend into the mountains.
Correct. He crashes the plane, commits suicide, and takes 150 people with him.
137, something like that. I don't remember exactly the number. Yeah. And there's reports that it's over losing a girlfriend?
I haven't heard that. I thought he was still dating the person. I think he was just having issues. and he snapped.
Yeah, you know how this is. It's only been a few days, and everybody reports anything they kind of
Right.
halfway hear. Yeah, I heard that they had recently broken up, and it was a depression issue. Like him just. I did not hear though about the doctor saying that he was unfit to fly.
Yeah,
Is there
he
any
was
reason why?
given a note. Like, he was given a doctor's note to take to his company, and he tore it up and didn't report that he had been deemed unfit to fly. It allows you lose some of your rights to privacy because you are responsible for 300 lives at a time.
So let's go a little less personal
Okay.
and just more vague, and let's just talk in concepts.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, if it became an issue, shouldn't the free market system correct itself by having airlines that cater to that problem? Like,
Right.
look, our pilots are screened. Wouldn't the free market system take care of that? Like, if it started to be an issue and you started losing 300 people at a time every few months, you would stop flying fucking Southwest, right?
Right.
Especially if Intercontinental's like, look, all of our pilots are screened once every 6 months.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
the question is, can they even do it? Can they even ask them? That's kind of what I was getting. But yes, I mean,
I think they should be able to. Sure, my boss can ask me whether I smoke weed or whether my back is hurt, or I mean, there's a bunch of things that I'm already. There is a precedence for asking people, and I think in situations like this, like, yeah, why not? Why, like the guys who drive trains, wasn't that French guy that wrecked the train like a year ago, like, all distressed over his girlfriend or something? Like, I mean, that stuff happens too. You can lose a couple hundred people that way.
right. Yes,
Perhaps.
if it is
and
doable,
then it becomes an interesting case because do you start, like, what about the guys who drive the big tanker boats? They may not be responsible for 20 or 30 people in those giant boats, but they can be responsible for untold worth of environmental damage. Should they be screened?
that's a good question. I mean, a lot of them are on some level.
Yeah, but there are also still some of them who are drunks and pillheads and whatever,
Right, and that's the other question is how often do you screen? Because a lot of times physicals are like once a year.
That's
So
true.
should mental
That's true.
be every 6 months? Should it be 3 months? Once a month?
And how much can the global economy actually, suffer through that much? That's just a strain that doesn't really add any wealth to the system.
Right,
That's an expense.
but it keeps wealth from being removed from the system. So
That's true. That's true. It's more of an insurance, huh?
exactly.
I don't know. What would you say?
I mean, for this, I'm a little torn, but I would have to say I would think that basically they ought to be able to give their pilots a mental physical.
Sure.
It maybe not have their personal doctor do it, but have them talk to a staff doctor, and so that changes the rules a little bit. I think I want to say it does. So yeah, so you don't have that. You're not really.
Do we need a law for this?
I don't know. That's something I haven't been able to figure out yet. I don't know if it's doable. Odds are, I wouldn't be surprised if we see something soon. Someone trying to do it, trying to be able to get pilots, declared unfit.
Yeah,
or not
it's
even
a scary
pilots.
thing, though.
Like,
Could you imagine being in that airplane?
oh, that'd be terrible.
Terrifying, right?
I mean,
I
guess,
like the pilot, man. I like how he went down fighting, tearing the door down with an axe.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
And you got to give him some credit against the door too. Like, whoever made the door, hell yeah, man. Because I think I could get through most doors in like a few minutes with an axe. Even a big oak door, it should split. It's only a couple inches wide.
I don't know. I don't know what they're made of, but after 9/11, they basically had to be bulletproof.
Yeah.
That's what I've read. Some people are saying that the only reason this happened is because the airlines way overreacted to 9/11.
Why was he deemed unfit to fly? Does anybody know?
Because he was, he was not mentally stable enough to do so. So, like,
I would prefer to have my freedom of privacy and have these just 1% cases that happen. I know it's a tragedy for the people who died, and I know it's a rare percentage for anybody else experiencing this, but I wouldn't want to give up collectively all of our rights just because of a few bad apples.
Well,
That's just not how the system should work.
right, but the question I have is for things like that, could you make the case, should you make the case that to participate in that area, you must willingly give up at least that portion of your HIPAA rights? That a doctor can call in and say, hey, employee X is really not, he's not fit to fly, pull him.
Is that a slippery slope, though? Is that one of those cases where we just start moving slowly and it's another part to give the government a little bit more control?
It could be.
And then they move further and further down the line. What does the government deem fit and what is like the general population deem fit usually doesn't coincide. So I don't know. It could be a tool to use to exert some control over the population. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Hi. It's definitely an interesting question to ponder. I mean, because so many doctors, a lot of people have physicals, right? And they get deemed unfit for work for physical reasons. So why?
That's a thing?
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Like, if you're not fit to be a policeman or fireman, that's why they have the physicals that you have to go through to make sure.
Well, that's fine. The company should be able to give you a screening like the firemen be able to give you a screening. Or if you have to complete a physical, there's no reason they can't require you to pass some type of psychological exam.
One thing
seems fair.
Right.
But it also seems fair that you could quit before the exam and nothing happens to you.
Right. Well, that's
you should be able to be like, no, I don't want to do that. Walk away, and there shouldn't be any repercussions for that. That shouldn't be against the law either.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a voluntary.
That's fine.
And so.
Well, maybe the airlines themselves should implement the psychological test.
Right. That's kind of. Granted, at least here in the U.S. with the FAA, they pretty much run everything anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Right. Damn, I just lost my train of thought. So, yeah, is it something that we should be able to do? Is it, or a question is who does it? Should the airlines be forced to carry a staff or a group of psychologists and train mental health professionals? Because if I were an airline, I would have my own, probably 20 of them that are. Every once in a while, the pilots have to go in and have someone they can talk to at all times. Just because the average Southwest flight has like 300 people on it. So that's the one they run between Houston and Oklahoma City runs every 45 minutes.
That's true.
Both directions. So it's you. I don't know, when you have that many lives there. I think when you want to be that responsible for that and could, in the measures they took to make sure it never happened again went too far. So it allowed things like this to happen.
Yeah, that's an interesting conversation. I don't know.
Yeah.
If the terrorist plan was to cause chaos and economic strain and fear, you could say they almost succeeded.
Yeah. Man. For sure.
They did a lot of damage in just one thing.
Yeah, and it was one of those things that was such perfect timing. Like, no one was expecting it. Luckily, with 9/11, there was some banking holiday, so they were mostly empty.
Yeah, it was a weird thing.
Yeah, it was, and so you kind of figure they screwed that one up.
Yeah, 2 days later or earlier, a lot more damage.
Right, but they did a good job. I would say mission accomplished on that one.
Yeah, if that was the mission, they did it. It's weird, and everything's different now.
The world
it truly is too.
The world has never changed as much as it did in our lifetimes, except for that one day. Like, that's the most it will ever change in our entire life, probably.
Right.
Like the they're just two different worlds, pre and post 9/11. The people who weren't really old enough to remember don't get it because you always kind of live with it, but it's different. And I've some especially for someone who used to fly a lot like I did,
Mm-hmm.
getting through airports sucks. Like, I cannot tell you how terrible some of the airport security lines are.
Yeah, I remember when you used to could go in the airport with me all the way to to get on the airplane.
Mm-hmm.
And we might go through just a metal detector, and it was simple and easy and fast. And
Well,
anybody's ticket was good enough. All you had to do is just show them a ticket for that seat. It's like,
Yep.
well, that's a ticket for that seat. Yeah, you're good enough. I'll go ahead and go.
you and me are kind of tied to 9/11 in a weird way.
Yeah,
I had actually come down to visit you,
that's right.
and I wanted to stay for a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I had left on September 4th, and my dad didn't let me. He brought me back on the 9th.
Yep.
I was one of the last flights to fly before the towers hit.
Yep.
So it was less than 36 hours before the towers hit. I was up in the air. So, if I had waited, like wanted to, I would have been stuck down there for a couple of weeks or something until the planes were going.
That would have been okay.
Yeah, it would have been fine with me, but
Maybe there is a God. All right, man. Hey, give the audience like a song or something, or give them a little short story. I got to go give the kids a hug. Sorry.
Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get into our music selection. How about some Adam Warrock, a little more nerdcore? I have my Spotify back, so I can actually get to more music, which is awesome. This is Retcon by Adam Warrock. Welcome back.
Yeah, apologies. Just, fatherly duties. Got to take care of
You
it.
gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, between this podcast and my children, y'all can fuck off. So, yeah, I remember 9/11. I woke up and, man, I don't remember why, but for some reason I didn't